Hello, hello. Welcome back for another edition of You Stories. I know this has been 3 in a row. We had Wednesday, we had a special edition with professional student and all the various people who wanted to say hello to her on Friday. And now we are here with another edition of You Stories. And no, Wednesday, we're not having another edition. We're actually going to be having Lady Borgia live. And that is actually a special edition. Let me get caught up here with my tabs. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Right as we were about to start, all of a sudden we realized I realized there was no start broadcasting button. I've never had that happen in any time that I've been doing this, but we all know Google Hangouts has all kinds of fun joys for everyone. So just let the lady get caught up for a second. I had all kinds of windows open and was shutting them down. And it's been one heck of a week. But I am thrilled to see you all. And here we go. We are getting rolling now. Let me take a drink of water and I'll tell you what we've got coming towards you special for Wednesday. And then we're going to get into the interview with the lovely Bridgette Snyder that we've got for You Stories today. I'm sorry, guys. It is like 90 plus degrees here. So I apologize. My hair is up. And yes, I have little kid clips in and everything. So, oh, Christian Gabriel Groman. Hey, greetings from London. Fantastic to see you as this is an international show. Majesty TV, how are you? Sparkle Boy Monica. Oh, your husband's been watching the Borgias on Netflix. Yeah, that's my family. They take a lot of poetic license in that show, but that's in my blood. Ammo, that is fantastic. Ammo, you watch that show a lot too. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have lots and lots of books and family whatnot. And yes, our crest is the Red Bull. Michelle, how are you? Great to see everyone. All right. I apologize for being a few minutes late, but yeah, literally, we went to start and there was no start broadcast button. It was completely missing at the bottom where it normally is. And oh, he likes Jeremy Irons. Amos says the lady should be in it. That would be really weird, wouldn't it? If the Lady Borgia, who is a real Borgia, was in the Showtime Borgia's show series. That would be different. All right. Yeah. My family that I was raised by actually is from over there. So that my father's side of the family that are the Borgias. And someday on Lady Borgia Live, I will tell you the story of how they came over here just like a generation or so ago. So we haven't been here that long on my father's side. Hey, what's up, Neil? How are you? Great to see you. Sparkle by Monica, glad to see you. Streaming pros have tech issues too. Mine are always insane. Yeah, it's Google Hangouts is just she's a trickster. That's why hopefully when I start running OBS with my new computer, I might be switching over to Zoom. We will see. But that's a whole nother story. Majesty TV, thanks, Portia. This time the eyes are open. Fantastic. Glad that your eyes are open. All right. Before we get started tonight, I have a special thing for Wednesday on Lady Borgia Live. As many of you know, and if those of you don't, every single stream that I have is a community event as well as the show itself. It is for both creators and viewers, which I was a viewer up until February, to meet each other, hang out. You're welcome to get to know anybody that you don't know while the show is going, as well as participating in the show and use stories and Lady Borgia Live. You're encouraged to participate with your stories, but you're also encouraged to get to know one another because, you know, if somebody you see, they don't have any content, they're probably a viewer and that's somebody you want to get to know. That was me. My channel since 2013, but yeah, I didn't start until February 7th for real. But we also have something really cool on Wednesday for Lady Borgia Live. Professional student, for those of you who don't know, she was the one at the beginning of how many of us met. She put a special list of creators that want to get to know each other together, and and she gave it to me as, you know, as a thank you. So we're going to be having a special creator list on that show. So if you want to get to know a bunch of other creators and start making friends, there will be a list attached to it for you to do that while you listen. So because you can always pop open another tab or whatnot, or do it after. Remy, how are you? I never used it, but I do plan on it. Yeah, OBS. I did some stuff with it, but with this computer, it's not happening the way I'd like. I was using Wirecast. So we got Linda's House of Chill. I hope you're feeling better today, Linda. Wonderful to see you. Crafty Creators, giving you a second like on the stream. Wonderful. Yes, if everybody could give a like and tweet this out there, because I forgot to tweet it out right beforehand. That would be wonderful. I'm going to take one more drink and then we're going to get going. So make sure you do not miss the show on Wednesday. And then next week, I'm not sure which day will be Lady Borgia Live and which day will be You Stories. Not entirely sure, because it is the last couple of weeks of summer. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Crafty Creators, OBS just sucks up all my PC. Exactly why I won't be using it until I get my new computer, because it just was too much of a headache. But so you guys can meet all kinds of new people on Wednesday. There's going to be a big list in the description box, and I will explain it and whatnot. And we're going to have fun with that and a bunch of other things. Ammo, yeah, it's a huge water bottle. It's for when I'm swimming. It's a whole gallon of water. So we've got Angel and everybody, and we are ready now. We are going to introduce our lovely guest this evening, Bridgette Snyder. Bridgette, how are you?
Hi, guys. I'm great.
Fantastic. I happened to run across Bridgette on YouTube. As if you guys don't know, by the way, anybody on here, You Stories is not just for YouTube people. It is for anyone. I've also had people who do not have a YouTube channel. So if you go below, you will find it, Bridgette's channel. Make sure you stop by and lend her a little bit of support and check her out. But we're going to be talking to her a little bit about her channel, but mostly about other things. But we will start out with that, and then we'll be moving along. So when did you start with YouTube, Bridgette?
So I basically started, it was March of this year. It was actually March 13th to be exact. And I've always remembered the date because each month I would on the 13th, I'd want to be at a certain goal. So yeah, I started on March 13th of this year. I started my channel. I guess that's the answer to your question.
That's awesome. Please, yeah, feel free. We get real chatty on here, so don't worry. We're not real formal. Yeah, I was
I was gonna keep talking.
No worries. We do that on here, and it's definitely encouraged. That's cool, because I started March 7th, so we're not that far off from each other. That's awesome. So what's really interesting about this is Bridgette has a really cool channel about makeup, but we're going to talk about other things about Bridgette too, not just her channel, as you guys know. BTD, how are you? Glad to see you. Ammo said I started almost 2 years ago, I think. Well, yeah, I'm new. I've been here 6 months tomorrow. Wow, that went by fast. Oh my God, it is. It's August 6th. February 7th. That is 6 months. Well, holy hell, thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. I've been here 6 months. This is really interesting, though. Bridgette, why don't you tell them what you do for a living?
I work in a restaurant. I am a line cook. I went to culinary school for 3 years. I graduated with my culinary arts degree. And so I work at this restaurant where we do a lot of our own gardening, and we have 3 really large gardens, and we grow pretty much all of our own lettuces in the spring of the year, and we have squash blossoms out our ears and tomatoes. It's everything you could imagine. Anyways, yeah, I'm a line cook there at this restaurant, and it's a really great place to work at.
That's just fantastic to get to work with that much fresh produce. I mean, that's literally farm to table, right there.
Yeah, legit.
That is so cool. She's in the Midwest. That's as close as I'm going to tell you where she is. But if I was closer, I'm in New York, I would be at her restaurant like that, because that is one of my favorite things. For those of you who don't know, I was a chef in a restaurant, but that's a long story and I'll tell it a different time. Oh, Linda, you can only stay for a few minutes. That's we are thankful that you came by for the amount of minutes that you could, Linda. We're always happy to have you. Hails the Heathen says sounds awesome. How did you end up getting into culinary?
Well, honestly, one of our neighbors, she was going to college. I was still in high school at the time, and I was homeschooled actually all through high school. But I heard about that she was going to our community college, which is only like 20 minutes away from our house, and she was going for culinary arts. And I was like, what? You can go to school, cook food, and make money at this? Like, sign me up.
Seriously.
And I legit enjoyed cooking food all day at school, and having baking class early at 5 a.m. in the morning and all these crazy things. But yeah, how I got into it is just it's like its own story. But yeah, it's just actually just from a neighbor, just by word of mouth, that made me be like, oh, okay, I want to do that.
That's awesome. Hey, Gemma, how are you? And I've nicknamed you Gemma the Gem because I always mess up Gemma's name. It is Gemma, not Gemma. And she is a complete gem. So I gave you a nickname, honey. I think I told you that last time. But for anybody who didn't know, I now call Gemma. Gemma, look, I'm still doing it. Hello. It's been a long week, guys. Sorry. My apologies. Easy tips and tricks. Hello. Yes, everybody needs pastries. True. Yes, and Bridget's channel is linked below in the description box for anybody who is interested for checking it out. Thank you, Halos and Heathens. Don't forget to check out the description box because there's there's how you find Bridget and all kinds of other information. Usually there is a schedule in there as well, but I was sick. So the lady did not get everything done when she was supposed to because I was sick. I'll just tell you the truth. So anyway, Bridget is not only a line cook, and what do you want to take that further? Do you know if you'd like to become a head chef or where you want to go with that?
Yeah, in the beginning of all this, my plans were to become a pastry chef and to like actually major in pastry, but I quickly learned as to how much detail orientated it takes to be a pastry and how
Oh,
much
yeah,
work.
pastry is like they measure to the like God know how many decimal of like exact.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was a pastry chef and she was up at 3 in the morning every morning and she's extremely detail oriented. Hey, Rachel the Great to see you. And she says Bridget is awesome. Go ahead.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. But yeah, I quickly learned that like I loved baking, and actually I worked at a winery and I did mostly all of the baking at the winery. So I basically made all of their desserts on their menu, and like for holidays and stuff, I did all the special desserts for the holidays. But anyways, through doing that, I quickly learned that pastry was really not my thing. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick to cooking food and learn more about that. And then, I don't know, to answer your question is if I want to be a big executive chef someday is no, I do not actually plan on doing that. I really want YouTube to be my full-time job if that can happen.
That's cool. I think anything is possible that you go for. Yeah, I have to agree. I love to cook, and I do some baking and stuff like that, but pastries not necessarily for myself either. Just it's so detailed, and I love to read cookbooks. I remember you saying also in the pre-interview that you like to read cookbooks too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't usually follow a cookbook like unless
Oh
it's
yeah,
for
no, me
baking
either.
or for baking unless it's baking or pastry, and then I will follow it to the letter. But I'm more of the type of cook who likes to just like throw that in and it's I don't know, this much, and it's when it smells right, looks right, feels right. Is that how you prefer to cook yourself, or is it a different way?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the pastry thing that was like holding me back. Like I wanted to be creative and do my own thing, and you can't. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna just stick to cooking and learning all kinds of food because I'm a super creative person, and that's why normally I don't follow recipes unless I'm making like a certain like sauce or dressing or something, and then I kind of try to follow a recipe. But if I'm just like, smoking some meat or braising something, then I just kind of wing the seasonings, and it's I cook it till it's done. That's one thing my chef did teach me in culinary school is some of the students would always be like, well, how long did we cook it for? And he'd be like, till it's done. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just, that's a smart answer. Like, why didn't I ever think of this?
That is a good point. I don't think I would have thought of that. Angel said she admires people who want to do YouTube full time. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think so too. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm not much, my channel isn't much older than Bridgette's. I mean, I'm right about a month ahead of her, which is not much. And I've had a couple breaks because of illness, but oh, well, thank you very much, Easy Tips. Thank you so much. And feel free to come back and meet more people. And on Wednesday, we'll actually have a list in the description box of more people to meet too. But one of the things that I liked about YouTube when I got on was meeting all the people and getting to collaborate as somebody else who is really creative. And it's kind of like a global playground, don't you think?
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's why I have fallen in love with YouTube so much, is how much of it is being able to be so creative with it. And meeting all these people has just blown my mind in the past 5 months I've been here.
Exactly. I have to say I can't believe all the things that have happened in the past 5-6 months. It's a little weird when you go back and think about it. Like that was only 5-6 months ago that all started. Like, whoa. I know for me, do you feel that way too, that it just feels like so much longer? Did I lose you? Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that it's only been like for you and me like 5-6 months, but it seems like with all the stuff that's happened and all the different people to me that does it seem like for you that it does to me that it seems like it's so much longer?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like it was just January and this whole my whole YouTube journey thing began to start, and I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's been like 2 years or something since I've been doing this, and it's only been 5 months.
Seriously. Hey, Giggles, what's up? Good to see you. Remy Moore says YouTube has an awesome community and the creative outlet is a much needed one for many people. I hear that. I've always been a creative person. Sparkle by Monica, she said, I don't even have margaritas for us to sip. I've got cold Diet Coke though. Bye. Well, that's fantastic. And easy tips and tricks. Oh, you're talking to Angel. We were supposed to do a hangout. What happened? Oh, okay. Well, y'all can work that out. Oh, Lynn Kale, concert pianist, singer, and composer. Always good to see you. And yes, BTD, Bridgette is doing fantastic, and you're going to find out exactly how fantastic in a minute.
Thank you, guys.
H.L. the Great says, wow, you guys have grown fast. I've been on YouTube for a decade. Really, Rachel?
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, Rachel.
I mean, I love your channel, but yeah, both of us are pretty much relative newbies, 5 and 6 months sitting here. So I just like leapt into it. I was originally going to do my makeup with special effects and fantasy because I'm taking classes to be a painter and whatnot. And I grew up in it because my mom was a model. So I've been in and out doing makeup and special effects and then painting because I had, my grandmother is a designer and a painter. And then I took classes on my own and whatnot. I'm also a scientist, so I was also going to do the health, wellness, and lifestyle. The live thing just kind of accidentally happened. And here I am twice a week. But this is an interesting thing. Angel says, yeah, I'm a newbie too. Oh, BTD, thank you. He says he hopes everyone's having a good day. That's very sweet. I hope you're having a good day too. This is the interesting thing. I think Bridgette is doing absolutely fantastic. I love watching her videos, and I've got to catch up on my own videos. I got a little behind when I was sick, but more so in editing. I've got them filmed. I just kind of move it with the editing. I can't wait for the new computer. But what is your channel mostly about, Bridgette?
It's all makeup. I have recently been doing a little bit of vlogging, which I've grown to really love vlogging. I like filming it because like you're not actually having to be at home and sitting in your certain spot with your certain lights on. And I like being out, and I love being outside just in general, but being out and about and getting to share with all my followers what I am doing, I think that's just really fun, and getting to show them another part of my life. So I've been enjoying vlogging, and then, you know, my channel is mostly about makeup and new products and testing them out, but
that's really cool. I'm also looking forward to, I got like my little rig and whatnot, and as soon as it's not as hot out, I'm going to start vlogging as well, because I just think it's, especially in New York City, since I have it, like there's a train station 5 minutes from my house. It's very easy to get to. But I'm looking forward to getting to do that, and doing stuff outside of the studio. And like I said, catching up with my makeup videos, because I've a lot filmed, but it's a little harder on an older computer. And then by the time I get to it, sometimes it's not exactly what I want, and I get picky. But this is the interesting thing, guys. Oh, Gemma, that's so sweet. Thank you so much for the compliment. And Nathan, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good today. I was not, actually, to be truthful, I was not feeling well earlier, but that was because it's so hot here. My rheumatoid arthritis gets thrown off. I'm feeling much better now that I am here with y'all, because y'all are fantastic. And that is so sweet, Gemma. She says this interview is brilliant. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We've got lots more for you. This is a really cool thing about Bridgette, and something I never would have guessed in a million years. Bridgette, when did you get into makeup?
Yeah, legit. I got into makeup was just like last fall, right before the holidays. Like, are you asking like when I actually got into like loving makeup or like wearing it?
Both wearing it and
Both.
loving it. We can go for both angles.
Yeah, I guess it was like from like when I was very young. I just enjoyed putting makeup on, and I had, my purse was always smashed full of lip smackers, and my dad would be like, "You're gonna have too many lip smackers. They're gonna go bad before
Oh
you
my
can use them
gosh,
all
I
up."
remember those. I forgot about
Yes.
those. I used to have those too.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually begged my mom into letting me order some lip smackers offline, and my dad's like, "Why is she doing that? Why are you letting her do this?" And yeah, I had this little vanity in my bedroom from a very young girl, was just a little fold up patio table, and I had my little lip smacker sitting on there, and I'd sit down there and do my makeup, which was just like a little bit of lip gloss and, you know, some blush or something. But yeah,
Right.
I've loved makeup since I was just a baby, you know, 5 and 6 and stuff. And then as I got older, I fell in love with, putting it on and stuff. Basically, not till I hit college, because, like I said, I was homeschooled all through high school and grade school and stuff. But then when I got out to college, I started wearing more makeup, and then I found out that I got the Ipsy bag, and I found out that they do Ipsy offers live and stuff. So I started actually watching those videos, and then I realized that there was this whole YouTube world of makeup videos, and I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I have to watch these videos. So then I got addicted, and I fell in love with, hauls and makeup. And I told you how I didn't even know that there was these high expensive brands of makeup, and like that I
Yeah,
only
that's
thought
true.
that
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
I only
sorry. We
thought
were talking
makeup
about this in the
existed at
pre-interview.
Walmart.
That is so cool, because that's the interesting thing in the pre-interview when we were talking, and a fantastic time talking to Bridgette in the pre-interview. Actually, I've had a fantastic time talking to anybody who's been on here in the pre-interview. That's why I love doing the show. I was floored that Bridgette hadn't really gotten into it until about what, like a year ago? Would you
Yeah,
say?
like that's when I was maybe not even a year ago, more, it was just like 8 months ago because it was, yeah, like October of last year.
Yeah, so that floored me because I watched her stuff, and you have such a great personality, and you're easy to watch and enjoyable to watch. But the fact that she's got like less than a year experience, actually doing it more seriously is phenomenal because she does amazing. And I would have never guessed that in a million years. So, that's what's even more fantastic about her channel is, I mean, myself, I've been in and out since I was a 6-year-old. That's where I started to fall in love with things. I was asked to be a model, and my mother told me straight up, look, you know how much work goes into it. Her agency wanted to sign me. And I said, I thought about it. And I said, no, no, thank you. I like doing it and playing with it. My mother would give me all her old makeup, which ended it was high end makeup. So I was the opposite. I knew more about high end and less about the drugstore. And I also fell in love with the special effects makeup when I really fell in love with it about third grade, the first time I was a vampire, which I've been so many different vampires, it's not even funny. But I kind of dipped. Yeah, I've been an urban gothic vampire, whatever
Oh,
kind of
wow.
weird thing, a space vampire. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to do for a look or for a special effects look until it comes out. Angel says, I don't blame you, Lady Borgia. Yeah, so, and then painting, I never liked painting on canvases. I always like to paint on objects. And I think that's the same thing as makeup. You're painting like on shapes, which I think makes it more interesting. But so I've been in and out, and then there was a period of time that I didn't do it for quite a while, and then came back and started doing it about a year ago. But to not start like for real doing it until a year ago, that she's flipping good. So, Angel the Great, she has to go. You've had a great night. Thank you for coming in. Remy had a question for you. He said, Bridgette, what are your YouTube goals between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, thank you, Remy. So, basically, when I started YouTube, which is March 13th of this year, I had set a goal to reach 1K in a year. So that would be March 13th of 2019. I reached
Right.
that goal. I actually hit it last night.
Well, wow,
So,
congratulations. I didn't realize that you were like darn close when I talked to you, and I didn't notice,
yeah.
but everybody, big round of applause for her. She just hit her 1,000. I think I hit
Thank
mine
you.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and then I haven't
Yeah.
been on too much, so I have not been networking and doing my stuff, but hell, it's holding and still growing. So, okay, cool. But yay, that is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you so much.
Please, sorry, I got excited. Please finish answering the question. I just got so excited for
It's all good.
you.
But yeah, basically I had set that goal for, the fall, a whole year from that point, but as of by the end of this year, I really don't quite know. I guess I'd probably say want to be by, I don't know. I'm hoping by Christmas it'd be nice to be around 1,500. I think it'd be pushing a little bit to be by 2,000, but I don't know. I set goals for my channel every day, and I just try to work towards them as hard as I can. But I mean, it's hard to do YouTube and do a full-time job, and it
it
gets to be a lot.
it does get to be a lot because there's certain days I wake up super excited, and I wake up or I've dreamt about some look or something that I want to do, or sometimes it's just like a color that I get obsessed with, which hint hint, there's going to be a lot of neon stuff coming your way. But it I just get like certain things, like for a while there it was red metallic lipsticks and other things. I don't know what the hell, but sometimes it's like really easy to get motivated and do it and everything else like that. But sometimes with regular life going on, it can be hard to, keep everything going when you just get like darn tired. And
hmm
um, I love it and I love doing it. There's like a pile of videos that I want to do and editing, but there's not enough of me. What do you do when you get overtired and you have a goal that you want to hit? Is there a way you keep yourself motivated?
Um, there are some days whenever it does get real rough, and thankfully I have my mom who has been the biggest supporter in my YouTube journey, and you know, a big shout out to her. I love her to pieces. And but what I do, I really, I don't really know what I do to be honest, but I have started learning. This is a new trick. I have started learning, like on my weekends, which is Sunday and Monday are my weekends. Usually I try to film on those days, and then my job has been so nice and they have been allowing me to bring my computer in and I will upload my videos to YouTube while I'm there at work. And on Tuesdays and Saturdays, I do a double shift, so I'll have like an hour break in between my shifts, and I will actually edit a video on my break and then start it uploading. And their internet at my job is so much faster than my internet here at home. So actually that has been kind of helping out me with my YouTube thing and working. And so I don't know. It's really hard to know what to do when you get tired. I think for me, I just have to just think about my end goals, which is, you know, reaching the next 2.5K mark. And I'm really going to focus on my watch time, which that's going to be.
Yeah, that's one. Hey, Abacus Incorporated, thank you for coming in. And thank you so much, Gemma. You are absolutely so sweet. And like I said, everybody, please make friends with each other. Every single live stream I do, you're not being rude if you're chattering with each other. I encourage it. Get to know each other and get to know viewers too, even if they don't have anything on their channel. That's what I was for years. My channel says 2013, so that's quite a few years until that's like, actually, yeah, it was March of 2013, it says on the thing. So I was just putting up private content for family and just watching for 5 years before I started. So definitely include any watchers or anybody, make friends with them. It's fantastic, and you never know you're going to meet and end up doing fun things with. But that's super cool of your job allowing you to do that, because that's one thing. Once you get the video done, sometimes like once I get a video done and get it edited, I forget how much extra time there is getting it uploaded, getting everything in the description box, getting like all that done. And I'll be like, oh, I thought I was done. Oh, that's right. I still have to do this. And like I said, I still have to catch up from being out from a bit. So that's awesome that they let you do that. Have you ever gotten, oh, BTD said, I had 100 supporters for 7 years before something happened. Wow. Angel said she had only 79.
Long. That's 7 years is a very long time.
That is, you guys really hung in there. That's incredible. Because before I met everybody, I had 50. I managed, because mine is a little bit different. I started in Christmas and I put out 2 videos, and I'd never edited anything in my life. I love to film things, but I'd never like looked at an editing program. I just filmed stuff.
Me neither.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, I filmed all day long, my friends, everything, but I didn't know anything. And that was the first time I opened an editing program. And it was because people were requesting it on my Instagram page. They wanted to see tutorials of stuff that I was doing. And I'm like, okay, hope I can figure this out. And I actually put them up in June as a throwback week. It was the first 4 I ever did. Because I never put them on here. They're, little 1-minute videos. But it's interesting, to start out and like have no idea, how to do it. And you guys like hung in there for that long. And I mean, I got up to 50. I put those 2 videos up in December. And then my grandmother passed away, so I stopped. And then I restarted and officially started February 7th, 2018. So like you guys really, like BTD and Angel, you guys like hung in there really well. Farmall Fanatic, how are you doing? Good to see you. I guess we're really lucky, Bridgette, to be able to get to go.
Man, I wouldn't have the patience to wait that long. Like I'm either like, let's do this, let's go, or I'm done type of person.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm persistent, but I gotta say, 7 years BTD, that is absolutely fantastic. I have to agree with Bridget. I'm not sure that I would have hung in so hardcore. So
Mm-mm.
good to know that we hit the exact right moment. Bridget just started. Not to say
Yeah, I
that
guess so.
I love your channel. I think it's hysterical and whatnot. But speaking of makeup, we're going to get into that a little bit and then some other things. She also has some really interesting other hobbies. Out of makeup, what is your favorite thing to do? I like for me, one of my favorite things is eyes. I love eye makeup and all the stuff that goes with it. And well, and special effects stuff, but that's different. But just like regular makeup, what is your favorite thing or your favorite things to do?
Yeah, I would have to say doing my eye makeup is my favorite thing as well. It's that's the part of my body that I can be the most creative with when I'm, sitting down to figure out which kind of look I want to do for the day, or, you can't you can't be creative with your foundation very much.
No, I'm one of those weird. I think I'm the only one of the makeup channels that doesn't wear foundation. I've worn it once on my what is it? Quest for the Holy Grail foundation, which will be coming back when it's not so hot out. And it is coming in an upcoming video that I'm editing. It's just taking a while to edit it because it's a little long. But um, yeah, I have to agree with you. I've heard some people say that their foundation, their whole base is their favorite, but other than
Hmm.
like special effects painting, I don't know how creative I can get with that. Or doing like
Yeah,
color,
no.
like contour. Go ahead. Oh, Abigail
Yeah,
says I
I'm
rarely wear
disagreeing.
foundation too. Angel doesn't like.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I know you're fine. I actually just have to wear foundation because I just don't really like the appearance of my skin, the way it looks, and it's just a personal thing.
Oh, sure.
But I've actually seen some really cool things on Instagram that of like people actually like creating designs around their eyes, and it looks like more of like a mural on their face. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. That would actually be something I could see you doing.
That, yeah, I've got some plans for doing some interesting stuff for it. And I have a lot of paints, but my big giant paint set just came here. So I have a lot of plans. Yeah, that is definitely something I would do. My family is used to me wandering out and having God knows what on my face that they don't even bat an eyelash. It's just kind of normal in our household. The only thing
Yeah.
is my dog gets, you can tell like my dog gets upset sometimes if it's freaky. You can like gauge like how freaky something is like by how my dog feels. She'll start backing up. Other things she likes and she gets all excited. So she's like my barometer of like how freaky the makeup is. And we have SW themes coming in and Kimberly coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kimberly, we are talking some makeup right now. And we'll be talking some other things too. Um, of eye makeup, what are your favorite brands and some of your favorite products?
Uh Man, you know what? That is the hardest question when I get asked that. I think my favorite brand of like eye makeup has to be Juvia's Place because their quality is like spot on and they're
Seriously.
so affordable. I actually just did an exciting review on the new Afrique collection for Juvia's Place actually yesterday, so I'm so excited to post that. But
Yeah, mine's coming. I have to film it, but I got that really fat. In fact, that's what's on my eyes right now. I got to film mine. Go ahead.
yeah, I think as far as the brand, the Juvia's Place has to be my favorite. I don't know what else you asked about that question.
But it's okay. Hold on one second. I'm just saying. Um, like I said, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Kimberly said Juvie is amazing. I have to admit, Juvie is one of my favorites. I think I have all of the palettes except for,
Really?
yeah. The only ones I don't have the Nubian. Because it's the neutrals, and I didn't.
Oh yeah. Who
I
wants
already
that?
have.
Really?
Yeah. But and I Didn't get the Warrior palette because I have a lot of those metallics, so it was kind of redundant. Not that I mind redundancy, and I might eventually get it anyway, but I kind of looked at it and went, meh. But the
Yeah.
Afrique, or 'cause that one, I saw it and it was like, bang, I need that now.
Yep. Yep. Me too.
Out of all of the Juvia's Place ones, which one is your favorite?
That's easy. It's the Magic palette.
Ah, I
It,
love that one.
it legit has the perfect green in it for me, and
Oh wait, I
I
know
don't
that
know.
green. I'll show everybody. As you notice, they're like within arm's reach. Um,
Yes.
my two favorites, I think, are Magic and Masquerade, and I'll show you guys in the audience
Yeah.
just in case so you can see what we're talking about. The rest of them I have right here in my drawer where I can reach, because I actually set up where I film and where I do live streams where I actually do my makeup and painting, so it makes it easier. Let's see. Here we go, guys. I want to make sure y'all can see it. This is the Magic palette. Okay, yeah, there we go. I've got it in. And there's a
Yep.
green that's right here that is sick. It's just like the
And
most
then
amazing. Go
and then
ahead.
the rust color right above it is, oh, it's spot on. I loved it.
That's awesome. I love this matte dark purple and the matte blue.
Mhm.
And then it turns out this like black light, um, it's almost like a UV black light color. I realized I have
Uh-huh.
this, but then I also have Makeup Geek's black light, and I have one other, and I ended up getting them in a bunch of places. I want to show you guys also this for, I know some of you are like, okay, that's great, but yeah, we want to talk about this
We're
also.
like, no, no, it's awesome.
This is, for anybody curious, the Masquerade palette.
Yes,
This is one of my top 5 favorite palettes. These blues are sick. It's just,
they are.
uh, it's amazing. And for anybody who's not familiar with makeup, these are incredibly affordable and
They
just
are.
so pigmented. It's sick.
It is. It blew my mind the first time I actually opened up the Magic palette and started using it. I'm like, this was only like, I don't know, what are they, like $17 or something? I was like, this is only $17? How?
Seriously. And like these things are huge. And even the new
They
one, which
are.
I'll pop it out for anybody who doesn't know what it looks like. I just had it out because it was on my face. I'm so thrilled because I have a bunch of them I was saving to do first impressions, and but this one I'm like, forget it. I'll do a review because I cannot wait to use it. This is the new one, guys, that we were talking about,
Mhm.
and
And oh my gosh, that yellow.
that yellow, yes.
It's amazing.
I'm obsessed with this yellow. I have used this yellow so many times since I opened it up, and I'll hold it up for you guys. This blue, the cobalt blue, is awesome.
Hmm.
This yellow is so good because most of the yellows that you get, some of them are good, and they have another yellow. I'm like whipping things out all over the place. I have one yellow to show you guys in a previous palette that they did. Wait, nope, not that one. Hold on. Nope, not that one. Come on, where's in my drawers? Where did you go? All right. I don't know. Of course, because I'm on air and I'm trying to show people, it's going to move. And all right, well, I don't know where the Zulu palette went. There it is. Okay. This yellow, there's another yellow in this that came out before. Yeah, Angel, it's really inexpensive, those giant palettes. And then you can
Hmm.
get them on sale. They'll have like 35% off.
They're
This,
always on sale.
yeah,
Oh,
this is
yes.
the Zulu palette. It's a different yellow. It's more
Yes.
like a school bus yellow. The other one, though, that yellow that just came out is yeah, and I've got these things throwing all over the place. I'm making a mess, but who cares? It's fun. These are just like sick though. I have to, when you said Juvia's, I was like, oh yes, oh yes, I love them. Which Juvia's palettes do you have, and other than the Magic, which is your favorite? Well, I'm putting all this away from being messy.
Yeah, I have, let's see, I'm trying to look over at my vanity actually. I have the Magic, the Masquerade, the Zulu. I'd have to like pick you up and carry you in order to get over there. And then there's one more, and then the new Afrique palette. But other than the Magic palette, the Zulu palette would have to be my favorite because I'm crazy about colors, and that one has, you know, all the bright colors, and it's has to be my favorite.
Yeah,
I wanted to get the palette that's the same size as the Zulu palette, but it's like the pastel colors.
Oh,
I'm sure you have that one.
No, in fact, I think that's the one that I don't. I think, what is it, Deuce? Or it's the one with the pink and the silver and the green?
Right. Yeah, that one.
I didn't end up, that's one that I forgot. That's the other one I don't have. I don't know, like, I did want it, and then I couldn't make up my mind, so it's still, like, not off the list of things that I want to get. It just kind of, like, went back and forth. I wasn't sure, and I'm like, well, I kind of have those colors, but I like it, but I don't, but I do. So I'm not entirely sure if it's because I have an ongoing, like, kind of wish list to myself. Do you have anything like that?
Oh gosh, yes, the list is a mile long.
I do too.
And
In, like,
it's awful
order of
because I
priority.
follow
Go ahead.
like I follow Trend Mood One, like I'm their personal stalker.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, add that to the list. Like, I really want to try the new Milk Makeup setting powder. That stuff just sounds amazing. Like, it's supposed to hydrate your skin but keep you matte all at the same time. I'm like, oh man, this stuff sounds awesome.
Oh, I want to try that because I wanted to try the Cover FX one just for that reason, because my skin, a lot of the setting powders dry me out, but I don't want to be shiny still. But it's exactly, that sounds perfect. Gemma says, Lady Borgia, love you, lady. I'm gonna go film my poem for you later. Oh, that is so sweet. I can't wait to see that, and then also get a copy of it so I can put it up. Gemma writes some amazing poetry, and I was gonna hang up her the puzzle poem in my vanity. I surround every, like, positive, happy things, letters from family. You know, I have a little letter that says, you know, I love you from one of my family members, and pictures and stuff. So it's kind of like my happy place in here next to my shelves. And let's see, what was it? Let me go back in the chat for a second. I know we weren't talking to you guys just for a minute, but you had to see what we were talking about, because you can't just imagine Juvia's place. It's just too fantastic. Oh, Angel says, in the last 2 days I probably watched over 100 videos. Yes, I am severely behind in my watching, and a big time I need to catch up on my videos and editing. Oh, Kimberly says she loves the yellow gold and the magic. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
And fantastic. Okay, cool. So yeah, we caught up with everything. I didn't want to think you guys think we were ignoring us, but this is, like, such pretty stuff. I love color. Like, I'm just, like, such a color junkie. Have you gotten into Sugar Pill at all? Because they've got some, like, really cool colors that I've been collecting.
Yeah, no, I actually don't have anything from them.
They've got some really cool stuff. Yeah, let me put things away. I know, you guys, it's like, why is she putting everything back in the boxes? Because that's how I do it. Everything goes back in the box just in case.
I've heard of people actually, like, keeping all the boxes. I'm actually not one of those people who can keep the stuff in the boxes.
Yeah, I'm as in the bubble wrap in the box. I'm ridiculous that way. Yeah, I really am. I'm ridiculous. Every single palette has its, like, original box and paper and whatnot, and has the, like, its exact spot in my studio, so I know where it is. Oh, let's make sure that's not upside down. There we go. Thank you all for your patience while I put my things away right in the middle of being on air. But Kimberly says she doesn't have any sugar pill either. And Junior's Brewview, let's see, he has a new outdoor channel called Snag Alien. Okay, that's interesting. Hello, Amber Nicole. How are you? Welcome to You Stories. Our guest tonight is Bridgette Snyder, who has all kinds of interesting stories to tell. And since you're new here, I will tell you, You Stories is not necessarily about people that are on YouTube. It can be anybody, doesn't have to have a YouTube channel. And it's just about people and their stories and how people connect their stories. And people are also welcome to get to know each other as viewers and creators in the chat and get rolling. So feel free to start chatting with people, Amber, Nicole, and Junior's Brew View, while I bounce around in my chair. Okay, good. I have ADD. I have to put things away. I'm sorry, guys, but y'all know I'm just like that. Kimberly Harrod, she says, I like bricks, but pallet boxes. Angel's a box girl. Oh, thank God somebody else does it too. Other than Juvia's Place, have you tried a lot of the indie stuff, or no? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, Juvia's Place is about the only indie brand that I actually own anything from, I believe, unless there's something I'm not sure. But I think they're the only one, and I would actually love to purchase more products from indie brands because I love trying new things, like I said. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the things we were talking about, is that we both loved trying new things. And yeah, I'm sitting here with these my Juvia's piles. It's not that bad, you guys. They really are affordable, and I got them all on sale. So no, it's not as out of control as it looks. Let's see, BTD, he said, I have a question for Bridget. Oh, Kimberly first. She says, if you love the color, Carroty Matte Brights is beautiful. I've never tried out Carroty, Kimberly. I have to hear about that. And BTD says, I have a question for Bridget. How long did it take you to learn editing, and what software do you use?
Thank you, BTD. So it actually, I don't know, it did take me quite a while to learn how to edit because, number one, I never even filmed or worked with an editing software ever. So I was legit self-teaching myself. That did not come around. I was self-taught everything. And my first couple of videos, it took me actually a couple of days to edit them because I was like, actually, I was terrified of uploading something and it like looking really stupid. And then I like get, someone like making fun of me in the comments or something. So I was like terrified and wanting to make it perfect. So it took me a few days to actually edit this video. And it was just a Ipsy unbagging, which is, it's really not too crazy of a editing process for that. But
it looks like Ipsy and Boxy and Ipsy. I think Ipsy and BoxyCharm and those kind of things, unboxings are probably like the easiest ones to start with. Because that's what I did. My first video was a BoxyCharm, not so much unboxing, but kind of like get to know me and review. And it's a little, okay, it's definitely long. It's like 28 minutes, but it was like me chattering, and I didn't really do that much editing with it. I don't know why, because I figured out how to edit and I did it for the Instagram ones, but I was just like, well, I'll just put this up and whatnot. So, but what program do you like to use for editing?
Yeah, I started out using iMovie because that is on my Mac laptop that I use to edit my software. I started out using iMovie, ended up, I started outgrowing iMovie just a couple of months into this YouTube journey. I was like, man, I actually started really enjoying the whole editing process of filming and stuff. And I was like, man, I'm loving this. And I couldn't like add music, add another video on top of a video, plus like other things into iMovie because it only lets you use like 3 things, I think. And I was like, man, this is it's like holding me back. So then I was like, well, I want to try something else. And I heard of a few people using Filmora. So I actually bought Filmora, which is only $50. Tried it. It's okay. I like Filmora's like music selection in there. So I actually use Filmora for my like background music if I need that. And then I ended up buying Final Cut Pro, and I've been loving that software ever since I bought it. So Final Cut Pro and Filmora is pretty much what I use at the moment.
Yeah, so you're all Apple based then?
Yes, I'm completely.
I've heard Final Cut Pro is amazing, but I'm a PC user. We have a few new people stopping in. Patsy Houlihan, thank you for coming. Hold on, let me roll back a little bit. Gemma says, she says she hasn't worn makeup since she was 18 and she's now 30. She says she just doesn't like that it feels really slimy and her face is clammy when I wear it. There are actually better things now that they've come out with. I'm not like a huge fan of foundation because often it actually makes my skin look worse rather than better if it's at all drying. But that's why I'm on the quest for, because I usually have at least one that I like to wear, you know, if I want to do a full face. And right now I only have like, I don't have an actual favorite. So there will be more coming. But Gemma, is it just the face makeup that you don't like, or is it the eye makeup too? Go ahead and take your time answering that. And Patsy says she's Apple based too. In fact, I happen to know Patsy films and edits everything on her iPhone. So that's pretty
Yes,
impressive.
you know, big props to you, Patsy, because I've actually filmed a couple things on my phone and edited it into iMovie on my phone and used it in the IGTV. I have been trying to get into IGTV a little bit, and I'm like, man, I've heard of people editing on their phones, and I'm like, man, how do you do that? I just could not.
It's really small because I do it. I have a
Yes.
Note 8 and I've done a fair amount of editing on my phone, and it's really small. Thankfully, like mine has a built-in S Pen, so I can
Okay.
tap on things and stuff like that. But no, I really prefer like because my computer, it's great for like just emails and whatnot and this, that, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
bought to be like for editing or using for OBS or anything else like that, which is why I'm going to be buying one very shortly. And yes, Angel, Gemma, why do I do this with her name? I'm so sorry, Gemma. Gemma is a natural beauty. Patsy Houlihan, she says she doesn't have her phone, but she uses iMovie Final Cut, is expensive and I'm reading something wrong. It says, but I use iMovie Final Cut is expensive and complicated. Okay, I don't know much about it. I've just heard Final Cut Pro was a really good program and a lot of people liked it. It's just unfortunate for those
Yeah.
of us who like PCs. No, we get to use Adobe, which I'm gonna have to learn that. I have no idea. I use KineMaster and oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking. Another one, doesn't matter. I use a couple. I can't believe
Yeah.
I would forget that at the moment. But
It took me a couple of weeks to learn Final Cut Pro, and yes, Final Cut Pro is like $300, and I was like, man, I actually got paid to do a small little makeup gig for my boss. He paid me $200 to do this for him, and I actually used that money and put it towards my editing software, so that really helped. But yeah,
that's awesome.
it took me right at 2 to 3 weeks to learn the Final Cut Pro system. I was like, man, I'm like actually had to go on YouTube, type in how to do something, and I had to like reteach myself how to do all this stuff I'd already learned on iMovie. I was like, man, I know there's a button. Where's the button at? And I had to like reteach myself all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
No, I totally know what you're talking about. Hey, Juliet Miranda, glad to see you. Please, anybody that you don't know, make friends with and have fun, and feel free to chat amongst yourselves and talk to people while we're doing the show or ask any questions. Now, I totally know what you mean, Bridget, because when I'm getting my new computer, I'm intentionally getting a laptop because it's just easier for me. I know
Mm,
desktops have more power, but it just doesn't. I mean, it's a desktop's going to have to come later. It just works better for me to have a laptop with mobility and stuff. But
yes.
the problem being is I know I'm going to have to switch programs, and I'm like, oh boy, I hope it doesn't take like that long to learn it, because KindMaster, when I learned that one, it went like pretty quick. It was kind of like intuitive and I could figure it out. And I've used Power Director, and that took me a minute to figure out because it was set up different and I wasn't sure like where the playhead was and trying to do it. So that's a legit concern of like, am I going to start doing this? And then, you know, how did you handle that? Did you just keep editing in your old program until you got it, or what did you do about that?
Yeah, actually, I had like one video already pretty much edited and ready, so I was able to post that while I was working on another video. And yeah, I kind of just had to like take a week, not so much a week, but it's like one day that I ended up not posting, so it ended up being kind of like a week, and it was kind of hard to explain. But yeah, I had to take some extra time and just really learn the software, and I'm still learning, and I've been using it for a couple of months now, and I'm still learning it to this day. But I don't know,
yeah.
it kind of depends if you're a fast learner. I'm kind of a fast learner, and when I'm really a determined person, and like I don't like it when I can't figure something out, so I like am driven to like figure it out, so it made it a little bit faster to
Yeah,
learn the
I'm
system.
the same way. I totally know what you say. Because once I get something in my head that I'm going to do something, I just won't let it go until I've gotten it. Patsy says, she says, we also use GarageBand for our music production rather than
Yes.
expensive. I didn't know that. And was Gemma says, Bridget, oh, she said, Gemma says, Bridget, oh, well, I'll ask her that in a question. Hold on. Juliet says, we use GarageBand and it's easier to figure out. She says my producer. Hold on one second, Gemma, and I will get back to your question. I have not heard about GarageBand. Do you know it, Bridget?
It's actually through the Apple software
Oh, okay.
on it comes on my laptop. I'm sure it comes on the actual Apple computer as well, but I actually have not dabbled around with GarageBand because that software actually looks confusing for me. So I don't know.
So GarageBand is all for music production. See, I'm still like
Yes, it
new as
is.
heck for all of this. I'm still like picking up things as we go. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask people what. Thankfully, S2W Themes is well versed in
And
these things, so I have somebody to ask. Go ahead, Bridget.
yeah, also Keynote. I use Keynote to design some of my intros, and I don't know if anyone here knows anything about Keynote, but I legit didn't know anything about Keynote until I started this editing software, and I had to teach myself how to use that as well. So
And that's another. I'm writing these. I always write things down as we go. I keep my pen near me. So Keynote. That's another music edit. It's for like.
no, it's not so much music. It's like where you can add special effects to words if you're typing them into the screen, and add a special effect to it, and it can like fly out of the screen for your intro screen, and then you can add other things and then make it you're basically adding effects to words or images, and
Oh, yeah,
then you
I do
can
that
then
a lot.
save
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so that's just kind of another whole software that I kind of use a little bit, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I've heard people use multiple different things because that's one thing I liked about KindMaster. Because if I'm going to edit on my phone, that's the one I'm most likely to use is KindMaster. It's more simplistic than what is it, Power Director, but it's really quick to do things like wanting if you want text to slide in or pop in or blow out, scale down. It's like
Mm-hmm.
really really easy to figure out how to do that. But for the other one, what was it? BTD said, hold on, wait a second. I gotta go back because he said something pretty funny. Broken eggs! How are you, sweetheart? He says, good afternoon. How are my favorite people today? Fantastic, and even better now to see you. Fantastic to have you. You're one of our favorites. BTD said, I used GarageBand a lot when I was 15. Well, I'm basically probably at the 15-year-old stage of learning, to be perfectly honest. I'm
Oh, you're so
determined
funny.
like I'm determined like Bridget, but I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't touch an editing program before December. So
Hey, girl, same here. Same here.
yeah, so we're newer at it. We're like at the 15-year-old level. We'll get there. I have a feeling both Bridget and I will get, up there because there's a lot of stuff I want to learn how to do. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you do too, but there's only so many hours in the day with work and family and this and that to be able to like also sit down and figure out everything. And then once you know it, it's like, oh damn, okay, that was easy. But
Yeah.
what you don't know, you don't know. Patsy says that they have downloaded every sound and instrument from around the world to use in our music. Holy cow. That's impressive. What kind of storage do you have, Patsy? Um, Wow, that's incredible. This is something interesting. Juliet Miranda, she said, for videos, intros, and outros, we use DaVinci. It's free. Yes, DaVinci is one that I want to try out when I get my new computer. I think they're up to what, DaVinci 16 now, and I know it's free. The only thing that I heard was that DaVinci could be a little bumpy when you're playing it back through it, but I've wanted to try that. And Juliet, if you have any thoughts on it, please feel free to answer in the chat. And BTD says, Juju, I used to edit YouTube videos on Windows XP Movie Maker. I've never tried Movie Maker. And Brokeneck says, I don't know, most 15-year-olds nowadays are far beyond us when it comes to things. I believe that. I
It's so
believe
true.
that. I've seen like younger like family members like that are kids. They're like do 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 do, and they're like, "See, wasn't that easy?" I'm like, "Okay." You just like totally like bam. But I think it's because they had it there when they were born and we didn't.
Right.
So oh, Juliet Marina says we love it. Awesome, because I've been reading up on DaVinci. I still want to get Adobe Premiere, but I also wanted to try out DaVinci for certain things because it definitely is going to be a transition once I transition computers. But then you guys will also eventually have better things to look at when I do my live shows, and it won't be so simple. But what the hell? BTD says I'm 22 now, and Patsy says we bought a 27-inch desktop for over $2,000 and beefed up the memory because the one we got in 2007 filled up and burned out. That's the only thing we spent money on. PTD says, just in case people think I'm like a toddler. No, I knew you were an adult. It's okay. I didn't know your exact age, but I figured you were definitely an adult. That's okay. That's pretty funny. Oh my goodness. But so well that's pretty cool. If you could, what do you use out of curiosity for filming? Do you use your phone,
Yeah, I
camera?
just use my iPhone 6s Plus is what I use. I really don't want to spend the money on a camera right now because I want to do my research and actually buy a decent one. And I know that in order for me to buy a decent one, it's going to be at least like $4,000 to $5,000. And I'm like, I feel like my videos are, pretty good quality the way they are with my camera or my phone, I mean. And I don't know. I feel like my editing software was more important than my phone at this time I am right now in my life. So, yep, I just use my phone.
I have to totally agree with you. That's the order I'm going in is because I use my phone a lot. Julia Miranda says Adobe's so pricey, but I've heard good things. Yeah, it's really fantastic. It's pricey, but from what I hear, I've been told somebody who works in the filming business that it is worth it. And Brokeneck says y'all are spring chickens compared to this old fart trying to figure out the new computers. Brokenecks, we love you. You're so sweet. And Patsy says we use iPhone 6. It replaced the point and shoot and has much better quality. Honestly, I think the let me start over again. I'm stuttering. Sorry, guys. A little bit tired today, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. The phones are so good nowadays that you can get like a good picture. And but like my theory to it is like go for the computer and editing next. And then like my last thing that I'm doing is getting a better camera since if the phone, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Bridget?
Yes, like it legit makes sense, and that's why I'm just sticking with my phone because I don't know. I feel like I don't know that like I said, I just want to get a good camera when I do, and I really want to do my research, and I don't want to end up buying something and be like, well, this is not what I wanted, and then I've spent a few $1,000s on it, and it's like, well, there went half my bank account.
Yeah, seriously, because you get such a good picture from the phones nowadays that it's more so the computer and the editing software that I'm going for next. And then I will end up getting a nice camera. I have a lot of cameras that my dad used to collect. Unfortunately, they're all film cameras, so it doesn't work. But they're cool to have. But yeah, that's definitely the last one on my list is picking up a new camera, because without the computer and the editing, there's a new camera really doesn't do much, at least in my opinion. What was it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Juliet says we do edited videos, so we use a GoPro. We're afraid to do live. Much love to you for having guts. Juliet, if you're ever interested, come on You Stories. I've had some people that were uncomfortable being live, and after they did it, they were pretty comfortable. I will not let anything happen to you. It's open. Both I interview both YouTube people and non-YouTube people. It doesn't matter. I think everybody has cool stories, and the concept of You Stories isn't really about YouTubers. It's about how people connect through their various stories. Patsy says for music production, we need studio speakers and a good mic. I just picked up not that long ago, I think it was in May, a Rode Micro little shotgun mic, and it's fantastic. I love that little thing, and it sounds quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit better, and it's easier because I don't have to tape the lav mic under my shirt. Although it's a good little mic, but it only works for playback, and the Rode mic is better. BTD says, Lady Borgia, I agree. Okay, cool. You've been doing this a while, so that makes sense to you. That's good. And Angel said, yeah, she agrees too. All right, then we are on the right track with what we're
We're all on the same page here.
doing. That is awesome. We know what's going on. Because it's interesting for people who've been on here forever, and then those of us like Bridgette and I who are
Yeah.
just like kind of finagling our way through. I mean, I'm learning certain ways, and I wanted to kill myself in the beginning, not legit, guys, but or more so, let's say I wanted to kick myself sometimes because I would film, and I've learned now like shorter ways to film to get the same footage without like having so
Mm-hmm.
much footage when I go to edit that I'm like, I can't stand you. What did you do to yourself? Like, you know, in good humor. But that's something I learned a lot about. Do you, out of curiosity, with your videos, do you script them, or are they just open and you film, you get an idea and you just film it?
Yeah, no, it's just full on. I just winging it the entire time.
Me too.
I don't
Nice to
I don't
know.
script nothing. I mean, basically, I have my idea in my head, like I'm gonna sit down and do this tutorial on this certain thing. But no, I don't have the time to sit down, write out a script, and try to go by a script.
Thank you. I was wondering because a lot of people were saying that they're scripted, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome if you have the time to do that, but I don't. So like everything is always, off the cuff. I have an idea, I sit down, and then I go, and that's that. I just
Mhm.
try to chop mine up. Like if I'm doing, let's say, an eyeshadow tutorial or something like that, I'll try to chop up the steps so it's like smaller pieces to put together instead of trying to dig into like one big thing. Do you use like a bunch of little pieces, or you just film one big like take of the whole thing?
Yeah, so I usually this sounds crazy. I usually film my intro part, which is me like talking about what I'm doing for the video, and then I have to get up, move my light, move my phone in order to zoom you guys in, and then I film the whole big long piece of video, and then I just cut it up into either the pieces I want to show or I speed through certain sections. Yeah.
That's cool. Juliet said, "Oh, you would love that. Could use the practice of doing live. Awesome channel, by the way. Thank you very much, Juliet. My email is down below in the description box, BorgiaGlobal at gmail.com. And if you email me, I can talk to you. I always do pre-interviews first to get to know you a little bit, so it's not a cold interview. And I would be happy to have you on. So unless you have an email on your about page or whatnot, just go down below. It's BorgiaGlobal at gmail.com. And like I said, happy to have you. Patsy Hulison says she buys her props at the dollar store. Yeah, I
Nice.
have
Yeah.
gotten stuff from there. You too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find just stuff around the house, especially like for special effects characters. I'll find like the darndest stuff to use. Like when I did the Nutcracker, the hat, is actually a fake fur, like wool muff or scarf thing that my family gave me for Christmas. And the jacket was a jacket that the sleeves were too small and I had up in the attic. And since you can't see the sleeves and whatnot, like I'll just kind of use what I have on hand or that's inexpensive. And it comes across. So it works out. Let's see. BTD agrees. He said, not scripting is the best way. He said, be natural. Don't plan your words. Just plan being yourself. People watch you for you, not the words. Yeah, I agree. And like Bridgette said, I don't have time to write it all out. So it's just kind of go where I'm going to go with it. And the most interesting things come out.
Mhm.
But other than YouTube, Bridgette has quite a few other things that she likes to do. And we were talking about she likes DIYs and she's very creative and likes trying new things and scrapbooking, whatnot. Why don't you tell us about the cool swing that you made? You guys, this is really awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know, somehow, like, okay, I guess it was the summer of last year I got addicted to Pinterest and still am because I use it for a lot of creative inspiration. But I started seeing all these things you can do with palettes, wooden palettes, and I was like, you know what? I want to create something with these wooden palettes. And I seen this wooden swing on Pinterest, and I kind of came up with my own design from that. And I basically designed this whole swing out of 2 wooden pallets. And
I love the look of those. It's like such a cool look. Go ahead.
yeah, it is. And so I basically, it took me a couple of weeks actually to make this swing because I had to sand down the pallets, because pallets, I don't know if you guys know this, but they are very rough and they
Yeah,
are not
not a
smooth to sit on at all.
no, not at all. I've dealt with them and they're cool looking, but yeah, you can get some serious splinters off those things.
Yeah, so I had to sand it all down, and then I had to went out and bought paint. I was just going to use spray paint, but it takes too much spray paint, and so I ended up buying a half a gallon of paint, and I painted it this like aqua and gray color, and I painted each slat a different color. And then I bought chain, and we actually hung it in our tree in our backyard. And then I put some pillows in it and a blanket. And it's just so nice to like sit out in the evening and like,
Oh,
yeah, it's so relaxing.
that
And I
is
actually,
so cool.
yeah, I ended up actually making a second swing. My mom actually helped me build the second swing. I've been trying to sell it, but no one around where I live wants to buy the swing. So it's actually sitting in my shed, like waiting for someone to buy it.
You know what you should do? You should do a video of it and put it up that it's for sale, and somebody might, end up
Oh
buying
yeah,
it from you.
I probably have lots of people who'd want to buy it, but it's like, well, I'm all the way here in the Midwest, and who's gonna come travel to buy it? And this swing is huge. Like this swing can hold like 3 people, so it'd be very expensive to ship.
It's true, but you never know who might be watching. BTD says it sounds really peaceful. It does. I
It
would love
it
to have
really
that.
is.
I have a giant maple tree outside. I mean, I'm looking at it now. It's probably about 7 stories tall. It's so old and huge. And that would be fantastic. But I'm all the way in New York. So there's no way to, well, yeah, you could have it shipped, but that's
Yeah,
probably a lot to have it shipped. But you never know who might be in the area or whatnot. But then again, up to you. That's pretty, I would just love to see it.
yeah.
That would
I
be
wish I
really,
could show it to you guys.
but that's awesome. What was it? Angel says, "Oh my God, that laugh, BTD! I fall out cracking up." It's too bad there's no way to press a button to hear you guys on these chats, but
Oh, I know.
it would be so cool if you could do that just for a second to like hear clips of people and stuff like that. BTD says, Angel, if it gets smiles going, then it's all good. And yeah, I'm all for that. Anything that's positive and happy, I'm good for. You were telling me also that you like scrapbooking and gardening and stuff like that. How did you get
Yeah.
into those?
Um, yeah. the gardening part I got into because I live on a farm. So my parents has always had, you know, a massive garden every year. So it kind of just like, I don't know, I kind of just was instilled into me ever since I was very young. And the scrapbooking thing, I don't really know how I got into that. Well, honestly, my sister and I have always loved doing like crafts together as a young child. And then as we got older, we wanted to do something with all of our pictures. And then we realized that we could scrapbook them. And I don't know, I have like 15 scrapbooks full of pictures and stuff. And I think it's just another outlet of being creative, you know, another way to be creative. And that's why I love it so much.
That makes total sense to me. That's really cool because I also have the creativity thing, and I've never done scrapbooking, but I used to have like a huge craft closet, and like a dummy, I gave a lot of stuff away just because I was at one point I was moving, and I'm like, oh well, I won't need this, and I'm like, why did you do that? You had all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I'd collected like over time, like the rubber stamps for things and the this and the that, and it was all organized. I think it was just one of those things like moving and whatnot, and then you just kind of get tired. And you're like, here,
Mm-hmm.
free, anybody who wants it. But I love that stuff too. Anything that's like another creative outlet, I adore as well. So that's a lot of fun. I was just about to say something. I totally forgot. What kind of DIYs do you like doing?
Yeah, so my DIYs are a lot of I love like doing the wooden palette thing. So last year I also made this like collage using like wooden palette, the scraps that I like cut up from making the swing. So like the pieces of the inner part of the palette, I cut them up and like made each piece like a different size, and then I screwed them all together with boards in the back, bracing them, and then I sanded the thing down, painted it, and then I decoupaged like pictures of like my dog and myself and family, and decoupaged that all on there, and then added like some like burlap flowers and stuff on there. So
Oh, pretty.
yeah, so I don't know. I find I like just, and I don't know, you just making old things into something new. Like I found an old watering can and I painted it, and then I took wire and tied it inside the sprinkler part, and then tied beads all along the wire, so that it looks like when the can is like hanging up, like water's falling out. And I have that. I'm also into fairies. I have like lots of fairy gardens, so I have that above my fairy gardens. So
Cool.
yeah, that's another whole story right there.
Well, go ahead. I would love to hear about it. I
Yeah,
love gardening. I love DIY and creating things. And I totally, fairy gardens, stuff like that is so cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
yeah. But anyways, I wanted to try to show you guys. This is my swing. I really don't know if you can see it or not. It's
Oh, yeah. Let me put it so it, oh, wow.
I hope you can see it, but
Yeah, I
I
can
found an
see
old
it.
picture. I
That
found an old
is
picture of it.
awesome.
But what were you asking?
um, actually, I'm like, um, I forgot. So
I
I,
don't know. You
it's
were
okay.
wondering about my fairy gardens. I have a
Oh yes, that's
couple.
right. I'm
Let's
sorry,
see.
my brain just like stalled for a second. It's been a busy week, guys, so I am not as on point as normal, but it will be going. We had a very busy week with live streams. Coriolis Effectment, how are you? Oh, BTD says that it looks amazing and very professional.
Well,
So
thank you, BTD. I appreciate that.
it does. It looks like something that you would buy from somewhere. You did like an amazing job. So
Yeah.
I think definitely there'd be somebody who'd want to buy that. If I were closer, I'd want to buy it. Hell, that's so cool though. But yeah, the fairy gardens, I would love to hear about them.
Yeah, so I think the fairy garden thing came from me loving Tinkerbell from a very young age. I have all the Tinkerbell movies. I was obsessed with her when I was, you know, in my teenage years. And so, you know, and then the whole thing of Pinterest, it was like, oh, all these fairy gardens. I'm like, I want to make my own fairy garden, you know.
Right.
So then I got the idea to use, the barrels you can get to plant flowers in. I've actually have 3 on bottom, and then I've stacked 2 on top. And so it's like a little fairy village, and then I have all my little fairy houses in there. And then
Oh,
I made big square ones that almost look like dresser drawers because I put like rope handles on them, and they're
right.
like 4 feet by 4 feet square and like a foot deep. And so they're big square ones that sit under a tree. I have 2 on the bottom and then one stacked on top, a third one. And so I actually built those fairy gardens. Oh my gosh, and they are so heavy. It's ridiculous.
That is
But
so cool. You just got,
yeah,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I actually designed one of my fairy houses out of a flower pot. Like how you get flowers in like pots, and it's like the plastic pot.
Yeah,
Well,
I always save them.
yeah, I turned it on its side, and I put moss all around on the top of it, and then I put like cardboard on the inside and put moss all around it to then just like kind of have a door opening. And I designed that, and then I dig it into the dirt and set it on top and has a dirt like level with it, so it looks like it's built into the dirt. And that was like one of my most I don't know. I was like really proud of myself when I built that house because it looks really cool. And then also for Christmas, I have indoor fairy gardens. I have a fairy Christmas village, and that's another story on its own.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, these are awesome. These are all the stories that I love to hear on the show because it's stuff that you don't normally hear from people. BTD says you're a lot more productive than me. He says, I'm like, oh my God, 100% going to do this. 5 minutes later, can't be bothered. Well, maybe you'll pick up some motivation from Bridgette BTD
Yeah,
next
hopefully I
time
can
you want to do.
motivate you, Brad.
Because I'm kind of the same way. I've been a little bit slower lately because my arthritis has been acting up and stuff like that. I didn't get it until I was an adult, but in the heat, it just makes it a lot harder and I wear out faster, even if I have the air conditioning on. But I still have like so many ideas in my head that I had to get a 3-ring binder like a couple weeks into being YouTube because like the more creative I get, the more ideas pop up. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but it got to be like kind of ridiculous. So I have a 3-ring binder with like 8 different sections to like write down everything so I can keep it in order and not be like a complete mess with it. Because I
Yeah.
used to just like write it down on a notepad and I'm like, you're never going to be able to find this stuff. BTD says, I hate the sun. I'm British and if it ain't cold, it ain't normal. Actually, I like the cold. I love the sun too, but unfortunately, I haven't gotten to swim that much this year. I usually am a swimmer year round. I don't know. What is your favorite season, Bridgette?
Summer, full on. I'm a summer girl. If I could live in Florida where it's hot and sunny 24/7, not so much 24/7, but all year long, that's where I would be. Where I live in Illinois, it's just it's hot in the summertime and muggy, and it's just
Oh gosh,
awful.
is it? Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, it's cold, and I really hate winter. I cannot be bothered in the wintertime. I just legit hate it, and I hate driving in the snow, and I hate dealing with the snow. It makes me a cranky person. It makes me cranky to talk about it. But
we had a lot of people around here like that too, because I lived in Illinois for a short period of time. I think we were like 10 miles south of the border from Wisconsin. But I don't know why. I'm from Santa Barbara, California originally, and I love the snow, but I have to say the heat and humidity in the Midwest, and actually even here too, it's bad on the East Coast too. I cannot deal. It's just so gross. It's like today. It's
really,
disgusting. It's
yeah,
like
like
too much.
I agree. Like, I don't like the humidity part of it, but I just can't stand being cold. So I think that's why I like the summer so much better. And I love flowers and working in gardens. And I think that's why I love summer so much more than winter, because winter's just so gloomy, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, that's when I like to put on my fireplace in here, and if it's snowing and whatnot, and
Oh,
then
that
just sit
sounds
here and paint.
wonderful.
Yeah, I have a little fireplace. It's right over to the side, and I'll sit there and either before when I had my acrylic paints for painting on things, which unfortunately, like all my books and paintbrushes and stuff for my acrylic stuff, like to paint on wood, got stolen in a move, which I was just like, ah. But I will slowly build it back up. But I do all the special effects painting and stuff right here. And I used to do it with my acrylic paints and like painting on wood boxes and whatever else I could get my hands on. And I love to sit where you can see the snow with the fireplace and be all cozy. I can sit there like that for hours painting.
Mm-hmm. That sounds nice.
Yeah, that's how I like winter. I still play in the snow like a little kid though. But then again, when I was
Oh man, not
yeah,
me.
I'm like the only adult on like the street that's out playing in the snow with the kids. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, when I was growing up, we had to go to the snow. I mean, you could go to the snow and the beach in the same day in February in Santa Barbara, but it was never like right outside my house." So, oh, BTD, wait, Michelle says I'm in Arizona and it's burning hot. Arizona, I don't mind so much because I'm heat sensitive. Humidity makes me sick, but Arizona, I could deal with it because it was dry. And
Mm-hmm.
BTD says he loves the snow. I'm with you on that, BTD. I do love snow. He said, I'd rather spread myself out over the snow and deal with the mugginess of the sun and sweat. Just ew, the cold feels still and fresh. I'm gonna have to say that I agree with you on that one. It does. And David builds vlogs. What's up? Often. What's with my brain today? I just think it's been one heck of a week. Awesome to see you. I met David Build Vlogs back when he had a different name, like right when I started. So, yay! Very happy to see you. Fantastic. I still have to talk to you because I'd still love to have you on sometime. Um, but we will be wrapping up soon because we have had her on for a bit, and we'll just talk about a few more things. And so if you guys have questions, get them in now before I let Bridgette go for the evening. Because if you guys don't know, I have my guest sign on half an hour early just in case of technical issues, except I never thought to look for the button that said, start broadcasting. I missed that it wasn't. Well, who checks for that? Like, is the button
Yeah,
still there?
you
That was
think
a
it should just be there?
yeah. I just assumed it was, and we were sitting there talking for a while, and I'm like, okay, cool, everything's fine. All right, you ready? And I go to press the button, and I'm like, wait, there's a big green button that's missing. What the hell happened? Never in my life. So anybody doing live streams, Google Hangouts can be a little glitchy, and make sure that you actually have a button to go live because that's a new one on me. BTD says it's 1:37 a.m. here. Dedication. You are in the right place, BTD, because this is an international show. My second guest was from Latvia, and he came on starting at 2 a.m. So we are definitely appreciative to all our international guests. It's also helpful with me being in New York because it's kind of in the middle between like the West Coast and then Europe. So we try to
Mm-hmm.
work it out. I'm going to be having some daytime shows probably starting in September, but I'm not adding anything new or huge in August because it's the last bit of summer and whatnot. Speaking of which, though, what is your favorite part of summer since you like summer so much? What is your favorite things to do?
I think the favorite part of summer for me would be just working in the garden. I don't know.
I love that.
I love growing things, and right now I have the biggest pumpkin patch you could ever imagine. I have 80 hills of pumpkins and gourds that I am trying to grow, which they're actually doing quite well. And I don't know. I love getting to see things grow and see them, prosper into something I get to then harvest and either eat, or I love decorating for fall. I think fall is like my next favorite season. I love getting to decorate for it and
I
using all
love
the
it.
pumpkins and to do things with them and cooking with them. And I don't know. Yeah, my favorite thing in summer would have to be working in the garden.
I love working in the garden. I think it's so much fun. But I grew up with a father who was always gardening, even in Santa Barbara, which for those of you who don't know, in Santa Barbara, you tend to have fences, but you don't have huge lot sizes because the property is so expensive there. But he would always make sure that we had like a full on garden with like lettuce, eggplant, tomatoes, corn, like pumpkins, and
Mhm.
he terraced it in the back because the back of our property went up a hill, so he did some terrace farming and stuff like that.
Nice.
So we had like everything. If you wanted lettuce, if you wanted broccoli, you wanted anything, you go out there. And we didn't even have like a full acre or anything like that. So I grew up doing that when I was when I first moved out of my parents' home. I was in my townhouse, and I took like every little space that they had to make gardens. And I had some people older than me coming up to me. They're like, "You're making us all look bad. Like you're the youngest on the block and you have all these gardens." I'm like, "Well, nobody's stopping you. Get out there and do it." So I
Mhm.
love that. I love the same thing you're talking about, watching it grow and then flower. And there's nothing better than going out if you're going to cook dinner or make lunch and just going and picking it. I love that. Do you have, because one of the things when I was a kid that we used to do is I grew up, we had a lot of fruit trees in California and walnut trees. So we used to just go outside and like pick our snacks. And
Mhm.
so we had to come in. Since you grew up in a farm area and stuff like that, did you guys do stuff like that too?
We did have some pear trees, but honestly, fruit trees are like the hardest thing to like take care of here. I don't know where you were at, but you have to do a lot of like spraying on the trees because the bugs really
Oh,
they really want to eat the fruit and annihilate the trees. So it's I don't know, it's a lot of work in order to keep fruit trees going.
yeah, that's true. I forgot about Illinois and the bugs. That's like, yeah, it was Southern California, so I don't think we had the same problem. Let's see. BTD says I prefer night shows. He says it's so chill during the evening. Yeah, I like that. I like pumpkins and sweaters and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. Switching topics real quick before we let her go. I think it's something really cool. I was talking to Bridget about family and relationships and stuff like that. And you have a boyfriend, right?
Yes, I do.
And he's, how long have you been with him?
It will be 3 years. Yeah,
That
3 years this coming next spring. So it's like 2.5 years.
and this is really cool. She's got a long-term boyfriend, and I found this really interesting and awesome. Many people nowadays would be living with the person. Bridget, where do you live, and what are your views on that?
Yeah, so I still live at home, and a lot of people, I'm very old-fashioned, and I just always have said that I always want to just keep that to kind of wait until I get married with the guy who I'm going to be living with, because I feel like that's just something that is treasured for a marriage. And I don't
Right.
know, I just don't see living with a guy until you're married. I don't know. It's just my own personal opinion. And
No, no, go ahead. I think it's the coolest thing ever when I found out when we were talking and she said that, because thinking back to it, I have lived with someone, in hindsight, I wished I had not. Because it is pretty cool to leave something, for when you get married. And also, it's kind of, I'm not saying anything against anybody who lives together. That's, all well and good. I have no problem with that. But it was just really cool to find somebody that, now is, has some of that still around, that, because I wouldn't live with somebody again, and it was neat to find somebody else who wouldn't in the first place. So I thought that was really cool. And BTD says he's been single for 7 years. And Angel says, "Yay, Bridget, you are a smart girl. I love this girl." I knew you were going to like that, Angel. I was
thank you,
waiting.
Angel.
I knew Angel was going to be in love with that. I just, it's like such a cool thing because it's smart. It's personally, I said to Bridget when we were talking in the pre-interview, I was like, well, I've done it and it's confusing because it's like, well, you're not a roommate, but you're not my husband. So we're not going to be like sharing bank accounts. So it, to me, it just is kind of like a mess of like how to navigate that. I think it makes it harder to navigate the whole thing. rather than, you know, waiting until you're married. And that's nothing against anybody who's living together with someone, you know, that's just a personal opinion. But how did you come to that conclusion? And I'm old fashioned about a lot of things myself, but it's just interesting to hear it from somebody else.
It was basically just hearing my mom and dad and how their views on things as they were growing up, and that's just, I don't know, they kind of instilled that into me as a young girl, and I just kind of grew up that way. So I guess I learned it from them.
That's really cool. Hold on, I just had one little problem. For some reason, this is taking up my whole screen, and I don't know why. That's really weird. BTD says, that's really cool, by the way. I think that's awesome. He says, get Angel on tonight's stream too. And Patsy says, why buy the farm if the milk is free? Oh, BTD, Angel's on this channel all the time. You just missed her on Friday. She is my official guest co-host when we do special edition discussions. So she was just on Friday, and Angel's on this channel pretty often, since every time we do a disability discussion or any other type of discussion or adult party or whatnot, any of the special editions, she comes on as my guest co-host. And she's welcome to come on anytime that she wants, but I believe Angel's working right now. She has usually has Wednesdays off, so we usually plan her to come on when that happens. But definitely keep an eye out, because Angel is on this channel, especially having to do with U Stories special editions. She's always my guest. So BTD adult
Brad
party.
says it.
The adult party
Oh,
says
Brad.
we are having another one. We did it as a total, like, it turned out it was supposed to be a pajama party, and then I asked who wanted to be on it. It was Angel's idea to have a pajama party as a special edition of U
That
Stories.
sounds so much fun.
It's so much fun. Like, we're gonna keep doing them, because I thought it was gonna be just like a one-time thing. But then I asked everybody who was involved, I was like, do you want it to be like an adult version, or do you want to keep it like family friendly? And Miss Kathy was the first one to say it. She's like, adult. And I'm like, okay. Everybody said adult. And I was like, all right, I'm cool with that. You know, I can, you know, I don't mind adult humor and, you know, being funny and stuff like that. And it was really cool because everybody was laughing and having fun. There definitely was some cussing and, you know, colorful humor, but it wasn't like nasty. So people ended up liking it so much that, yeah, Angel says I'm at work. I had several people ask, like, when is it going to be again? More than several. And a lot of people asked for another one. And I was like, oh, cool. If you had that much fun with it. And then Frank, who was on it, Art of Morbid, who's also Art of Mortifica, he said when he feels down, he goes back and watches it because we were all laughing so much. So, BTD, if you're interested in being on the next one or coming to it, I might have one in September. I am definitely having a Halloween one in October. It's going to be an adult costume party. So it's not going to be on Halloween, though, because I have plans. So, and that's a Wednesday, and I will not be having my Wednesday show that week because the lady has plans. That's just how it is. But yeah, we'll definitely be having more adult shows, and it's listed as adult. It's just not like filthy humor. It's like, it's funny adult humor, more, I would say. You know, it doesn't get too far. Patsy stopped in and was on it, and she had her shower cap and everything. So BTD says 50-year-olds say I'm young, 18-year-olds call me old. Yeah, I don't pay any attention when it comes to age with friendships. I used to work, when I was working in toxicology, I had a friend who was actually my mother's age. We just got along well. So, you know, I've never really paid that much attention to, you know, as long as somebody's a legal adult and everything else like that. We had people on that one, the people of all ages. So works for me. I think more so it's about somebody's soul and how they are than what age they are.
Yeah, I agree.
So, definitely, BTD says my humor is dry and sarcastic, and I cuss a lot too. That's it. Well, then come on the adult one, BCD. You're welcome to. Like I said, we might do one in September. We'll definitely be doing more disability discussions, and we will definitely be doing an adult edition in October. I will keep you guys updated. I'm kind of using like the end of August to try to catch back up from being sick because I was a little bit slow, and I would have rather done some filming earlier today, but it didn't work out that way. So, but as we're going along, let's see, I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh, BT says, Bridget, trust me, I can't help it. I'm just really adding more work for myself. You're funny. BTD, you got to come on News Stories sometime. You'd be fun to have on. But I'm going to start wrapping it up, guys. So the lovely Bridget can have some of her evening. She's an hour behind me in Central Zone.
Yep.
But it's almost 9 o'clock here, and I don't want to keep you too long because we've been on almost 2 hours. So I don't know why my screen has done this, but it's a really weird view, and I'm just going to leave it like that because I can't change it now. Gotta love YouTube. But if anybody else has any other questions before we go, get them in now, or we're going to be taking off soon, y'all. And I will be back on Wednesday with Lady Borgia Live, and a special list of supporters that want to meet other people to go back and forth and support each other. She's given one as a thank you for being on the special show on Friday. So I am always down to meet more people, and I'll be putting that in the description box on Wednesday so we can meet a whole bunch more people to play with. I just think the more the merrier. Just make it one big family, including, I like to include viewers as well, because heck, I was one. So anyway, it has been absolutely so much fun talking to you, Bridget. I would love to have you on sometime. We're going to do a special edition, makeup edition. Yeah, where we get, talk makeup and do some live makeup and stuff like that. I would love to have you on when we do that. And the adult version, if you'd like to come back for that. I've had a lovely time with you on. So
Yes, thank you so much. I really have enjoyed this. So it's good to meet some people in the chat, and thank you again. I've enjoyed this a lot.
wonderful. I am so glad you enjoyed it. I always want to make sure that my guests are having a good time. BTD, he says, I'm very good with makeup. I'm sure you can tell. Hey, I grew up with my mother in modeling, and there were lots of men who were excellent with makeup. Let me tell you. So you could be. It's entirely possible. But thank you all for coming tonight. Don't forget to come back and make a comment afterwards so people can see you were here, make some new friends. I always encourage that. Everybody is always welcome to do that. So come back and leave a comment. Alien! Oh my goodness, honey, we're just leaving and you just are getting in. I'm so glad to see you. In fact, Alien, I'm going to email you either tonight or tomorrow. And I'm sorry, honey, we're just about leaving. So I feel bad, but that's about it. We've had Bridget on for 2 hours, and with the 4.5 hours we did on Friday, my throat is only able to go to a certain point today. We got to let it rest a little bit. But Wrestler Mania! Oh, wonderful to see you. Say goodbye then, Alien. That's okay. All right, I will be in touch with you, Alien. And to everybody else, thank you once again for joining us. If you're ever interested in being on News Stories, you can be a creator, you can be a viewer, you can be whatever. I think everybody has interesting stories that connect them to other people, and that is the concept of the show. So if you're interested, email me at BorgiaGlobal@gmail.com. Definitely check out Bridget's channel. She's awesome. The link to her channel is below in the description box, so it's super easy. And once again, thank you so much, Bridget, for coming on. I've had a really good time, and I can't wait to watch more of your videos and talk to you about makeup more in the future.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did. It seems like those 2 hours flew by.
It did. It just poof. It gets on. It's so fast. But thank you so much. All right, wonderful. Good night, guys. We will see you soon. Don't forget to check out Bridget's channel. Love you all. Lady Borgia.